All right, we got our mic on, everything good? Wow, you guys are way back there. How y'all doing today? All right, I'm trying to wake you up a little bit, so guaranteed. If I get a little bit crazy, it's just so your blood sugar doesn't go down. I'm talking about the affiliate pivot. Let me give you a little background. I've been in this business 18 years, got my first affiliate check in '95, and I developed businesses using affiliate marketing principles. And one of the things I found as we're walking around here is this industry got hit pretty hard last year, which is a normal, what we call pivot, a change in the business. But one of the things I'm going to talk to you about, how do you connect the world of social and mobile to this world? Because we live in the world of problem, solution, sell them. Well, the customer doesn't live in that world. And now that the PC is becoming less diminished, I want to actually share with you over the next 60 minutes a little, hopefully different view, but also let you know that even if you're not thinking you're doing this, it's happening. Half of the traffic during the day is on mobile. And obviously we all say, yeah, well, how can we put our per-click ads and our Google ads on mobile? That's not the place that we necessarily want to approach them. What I want to show you are 3 opportunities I found in the traditional affiliate program and urge you all that a lot of you come in with a glass full of knowledge. You've been learning a lot today. What I want you to do for the next 60 minutes is empty it. It's a really good practice to do. The minute you think you know it all, look in the mirror and say, I got to learn from somebody. I got to reach out because nobody in this business knows it all. So with that, let me just step in a little bit and encourage you, by the way, since we're a small enough group, do you guys think you're going to be questions or do you just want me to do a presentation? Any opening to questions? Is there anyone here who would probably ask a question? Cool. Let me urge that because we're small and we got a way that we can answer some of these questions. What I do is I work with companies on what I call the 6 pivots. Search, social, performance, domain, email, and mobile. Those are the 6 things you're facing. And today we're going to talk about the affiliate pivot only because if you've noticed a shift, this is actually an ad by Firefox in a bus station in San Francisco. Why? That's not targeted. The customer is all around when they're experiencing the internet. They're not just sitting in front of a PC. And a lot of us are talking a good game, but we still market like they're in front of a PC. Well, guess what? What's the relationship somebody has with a personal computer? Most of them think it sucks. They don't like it. So what do they think about? Problems. Problem solution. Why do you think Google was so big? It solves problems. And by the way, no one's saying that's going away. But when they go on social and mobile, they're doing it for fun, for connection. The smartphone is not a computer, it's a communication device. Why do you think click-to-call lead generation works so well currently in the early days? So what I want you to know is we're talking about all the touch points. And what I mean, let me give you an example. I market to moms. 7 to 9 in the morning, my moms are waking up, putting their kids out, getting them to school. They're on a smartphone checking their email. I send them inspirational messages. I know this because I know the timing of my audience. You need to know where they're at. Because when I know they're on a smartphone, I'm not going to send them a link to a big old web page, am I? And then complain how it doesn't convert. The customer is already in multi-touch points, and it's multi-channel, multimedia. And here's the biggest thing when you're in social and mobile. It is not driven by the headline. It's driven by visuals. Ironically with headlines on them. It's driven by video. Even though many video guys like Motley Fool will use headlines and change them and talk you through it. But in the same essence is flat old static media doesn't work. The good part is if you haven't noticed the shift, you're going to notice it more and more because what they do in social and mobile is gaming and social behavior and search. All of this is good, but it's different. And if you try to put somebody's ad in front of somebody who is there to connect with other people, what do you think they're going to do? You look weird. As one guy said, advertising on Facebook is like advertising at a party. Advertising at Google is like advertising in the checkout line of your grocery store. So what we need to do is take them from the party to the grocery store. Let me walk you through what we're talking about. I call this Brevenue, and what I'm going to say for the next hour is just consider this. Most direct marketers hate branding because they think it's not based on ROI, even though you can see Burger King ads that increase sales of burgers. Most direct marketers want to see the sale now. Well, you know what? Only 1% to 2% of the customers are ready to buy now. What do you do with the rest of them? Most of us just say, well, let's keep throwing ads at them. That's what's starting to come apart, guys, because it's a little bit silly. And what you're doing is throwing away a bunch of other people who have the ability to buy, but at the point you're marketing to them, either don't know they have the problem, are not ready to do the purchase. There's a lot more reasons not to buy than buy. So why do we eliminate the others? That's what our old methodology does. And the new social and mobile, what it's really doing is saying, wait, there's another world beyond problem solution. And I want to work them, by the way, to problem solution. It's called three-step marketing. I call it care generation, and the first C, C-A-I-R, the first C is for customer. Let me give you an example of what branding that creates revenue. Here's Twitter. People trust Twitter. Trust is a currency. It is something that you can't buy, even though many people on the floor tried to sell it to me today. That was a joke, but not funny. Trust is a currency because when somebody goes to Twitter, they trust that Twitter, they like them. They remember them. Awareness, memory. But you know what else they do? How many of you shared an iTunes links on Twitter? Anybody? Share a song? Well, let me tell you what Twitter found. Lots of people did, so they made affiliate links without you even seeing it. And Twitter does not call itself an affiliate. In fact, they had to take the link share link off because somebody outed them and said it was an affiliate link. So they did an internal link, as all of you know. Twitter's affiliates with iTunes is an example. Twitter is not selling advertising. This is transactional-based advertising, and every major person who's out there has a piece of their traffic that creates transactions and a lot more that doesn't. So what I'm trying to say with Brevenue is, this is an example. If Twitter didn't create the branding, the repeat visits, the awareness, and the trust, people wouldn't share links in iTunes. And if Twitter wasn't smart enough to say, hey, people are sharing links, maybe I could monetize that? Because, well, you guys may not make money selling 99-cent songs. Twitter can sell a ton of them. And it's better to do a performance deal because advertising that works is performance marketing, affiliate marketing. You think, and everyone's going, oh, affiliate marketing's dead? This happened just 3-4 months ago, okay? The industry challenge. If you see this right here, it's real important. The only time I'm going to jump off here. Personal computers are right here. Guys, by 2015, the only personal computer will be in a business. They're getting eliminated from home. Look at the tablet growth. It's insane. It's not going to change, and it's not driven by the old methods. Look at the smartphones. They're going up, but the thing is, you got this teeny tiny little screen. You better be doing video, and how do you connect this to the PC so we can monetize? Because guess what? The user goes from this to tablet to PC. Those are the touch points. What are you doing? Or are you just letting them go over here and say, well, when they come back to the PC, I'll monetize them? That's where I see a lot of the affiliate world going. What I want to challenge you is take these performance marketing principles and realize our world was based on the PC. And most people don't like to change. The affiliate world has gotten into such copycat level because we copy what's successful. That was smart. You want to continue, none of this stuff's going away, but if you can see how few PCs are going to be around, wait till I show you how this proves out in other countries as well as the US. This stuff's happening so fast, and remember, when you have a tablet or a phone, you're touching it, you're not using a mouse. People don't hate their iPads, do they? When you read people talk about iPads, what do they say? God, this is cool! What do they say about their Windows machine? I hate Bill Gates! What do they say about their Mac? It's really pretty, but it crashes on me. They never understood it, and guess what? Not just my age group, they never will. But they do get tablets. So what do we do when the user's not pissed off when they're having fun? Oh, let's go slap a problem solution ad in front of them. The calls to action are being pulled back, and I want to show you some examples. Here's the world we're living in now. Multi-screen. That's not just a TV on top, that's their computer monitor at home. That monetizes the computer, PC monetizes in the US way higher. And by the way, just a little wake-up call to all us Americans, we're dinosaurs in mobile. I've hung out in China, I've hung out in other countries. Their whole system allows people to get on, and if you want to study great mobile stuff, I'd really suggest looking the hell outside the US. Because we're based on a system that says, I'm going to charge you as much as I can, I'm going to charge $40 to $80 price points. Hey, screw it, they're on mobile, I'm going to do the same thing when the price point on mobile proven is $0 to $20. Now, we can't make a living on 0 to 20, but we sure as heck could make that first purchase and then bring them over to the PC for the back end and the deeper sale. Telephones, smart tablets, and this little notebook. Tablets are going to exceed notebook sales next year, I believe it is. So in this world, what I want to suggest to you is that when you look at China and Asia market, which is like, why do you think Google stock, by the way, no one's talking about it, is up to 31? They're monetizing Asian traffic as well. Their stock took a huge bump because there's 500 million Chinese going to be online. We only have 300 million or so in our country, and only 200 million are online. Oh, wait a minute. It's just about the US. We're the leaders in the internet. Drop the Kool-Aid. Move on. And you know what? You want to be innovative? Stop acting like we're so smart. Because in mobile, and don't get me wrong, there's some really cool, brilliant people doing stuff. But for the most part, all we're saying is, we're going to do the same stuff we did on the PC. Let's blast them. Let's build big lists. And the deal right now that Google's even telling you, for those that got slapped, you better be relevant. And how are you relevant? You better get a lot more data than clicks, impressions, and conversions on that sale. That's cool. But what are you doing with the other 98% of the traffic that doesn't convert? That's what I'm asking you. So what I look at when I work in my own, marketing development, my affiliate approach, I call it care generation, is number one, you're trying to get their attention in social and mobile. Social and mobile are not there for you just to hang out. They're there for you to actually take this crazy ADD of media. They're running around, they're texting, taking Instagram pictures, talking to their kids. Man, you just throw an ad up in there? Do you know why ads were created? All we had was scarce levels of content that we put ads around to interrupt them and get them away from the content. They're not in content in social, they're talking to people. They're following people, and they're sharing. So I want to show you initial metrics in the attention level that I use to measure success. Very little of it, depending on the market. There are some markets that can sell directly to social. There's some retailers, some seasonal items. But for the most part, if you're trying to sit there and put a Google parameter on social and you're complaining, that's weird. Social and Google, social's a party, Google's a checkout stand. I want to get them to check out, but I have a two-step. Attention is the first step. And for those of you getting new in affiliate marketing, I see this as being one of the smartest, biggest sources of traffic, because most people can't do this. Being able to sift through, qualify, and drive traffic so that we know their intention. For example, when somebody searches on the word free stuff at one of my sites, they go to freestuff.com. They monetize it through email submits. We know that what their intention is. Most sites don't know, and what I mean by intention are they there to buy? Search has a high intention, email has a high intention, but what I'm seeing is a second level of affiliates who are going to spend their time really qualifying the leads. You know what it really is? It's like attention is the new lead generation driving into intention. And what I'm going to talk to you about is not just intention, but how we actually stop looking at the 1% to 2%, and all the marketing guys are, I made my 1% to 2%, that's it. Whoops. And I slammed the thing too much, and I turned this thing off. See? Oh. It's a PC. I hate it. Okay, just kidding. I'll slam the table here. Sorry guys, I'm a little antiquated and I feel in a cage here. What we do with intention in search, when you got somebody on Google, not that it's easy, but it's pretty cool because they're there to buy. But what do? There's a whole world outside of that, guys. There's a whole world of opportunity. And just saying, well, as I used to say to somebody, most of my affiliate friends wish social and mobile would just go away because it stopped them from doing what they're doing. And most people on social wish you would go away because you're pitching them when they're not there to be pitched and you have no reason to believe they're there to buy other than you're used to throwing ads up everywhere in existence. We need to get sharper, more disciplined, more focused, and start having metrics that tell us social's working that are not always tied directly to sale. Pre-metrics that let us know, and I'll show you a few. Finally, you know what all affiliate merchants are after? Retention. Affiliate programs have always been a very high first cost of customer acquisition, okay? They don't buy them from you because they like you. They buy them from you because hopefully 10 to 20% buy from them again and again. That's how they build a business. That retention is something I'm going to urge that I see. If I've actually worked with people who are going into companies and working on their retention like affiliate marketers. Now that's more of a service-based business, but anybody will tell you long-term value of the customer is what it's about. And this industry is so hyper-focused in a good way on that sale, that 1 to 2%, we forget everything else. We don't want anything else. Well, we're not in control. There's two things customers and companies want: control and choice. You don't have control over them, and they have more choices than you can believe. In the last 3 years, I read this in a blog post, the last 3 years, more content's been created than in the previous 150 combined. I'm calling an Instagram photo posted as content, a tweet as content, not literally articles, but think about it. We're awash in content, and all our marketing strategies are based on monetizing only around content. And what I want to say is there's a whole new element, which is timing of the user and finding out what they're interested in and funneling them through. I want you to build your funnels because your funnels have been very limited. And people are not angry when they're in front of their tablets and iPads. They are angry when they're in front of their computer and they're alone. This is the other thing. They're always connected to other people. That's why they go. Even that person who always posts on Facebook just to get a like, they've measured it. They're getting social validation. It may seem weird to you, but to them, it makes them happy. It's not a problem-based media. So how do we do it? Here's the biggest thing that having worked with domainers, people who own domains and drive traffic, one of the first measures I look for is what's your direct traffic? That's your branding. Direct traffic's your branding. And if you're a CMO, I want my direct traffic numbers to go up and up and up and up. That's my branding that creates revenue. Them typing me in, all right? It's the biggest thing. I'm going to show you, not from my viewpoint and opinion, by the way, by studies of how this influences sales, because we have direct traffic, search, affiliate, social, mobile, and display ads all going into your domain, which is mobile, which is email, which should have rewards, should have multi-page intros. But what I'm asking you is, where do they go next? Because their exit strategy is usually to go somewhere else, and we have them for a limited time. If we have them on mobile, how do we get them back on the PC? Because if we just have them on the PC and we don't have them on mobile, we're missing at least half their life. You consider this because this model of driving traffic is still here, but we all know it's like a bell curve. We went up, we're at a flat level. Penguin and Panda updates on Google slapped a lot of sites. Some playing games, even ones who weren't, hit 20 or 30% drop in traffic, okay? So now we're not talking about as much masses. Guys, I've driven 60 million visitors a month, okay? I know about driving masses of traffic. There's not a lot of us driving 60 million visitors a month anymore. Some of your networks are, but it's not the thing that an individual site generally can do because there's so much choice. So now it's a game of quality, not quantity. And how do we operate in that when we're being forced to fit into a world of quantity? And what I want to do is suggest a couple of ways that you can do that. But first thing I want you to know is get over the idea, as I hear from many affiliates, they think they're the center of the universe. They're in charge of the traffic. And they are. You guys have developed relationships. Hopefully people trust you. That's a good thing. But you're not the center of the universe, and it's not just a world of impression, click, conversion. Revenue is a historical number. Most companies in Silicon Valley pay their salespeople on retention, loyalty, and repeat revenue, not on direct revenue. And no one's going to keep incentivizing you, paying you big bucks for a first-time sale that already costs a lot of money. You've got to prove value in the chain. And what I'm suggesting is to remember, your customers here, you are here as the affiliate, and all money flows downhill from the advertisers. Have you seen some of the aggressive games in the last couple of years affect traffic? Some of the games that people could play. I mean, come on, most guys doing blogging, we're paying like $1 to $5 for a post, buying links, gaming the whole thing, and Google said bye-bye. Why? Not because you're a bad person, you're playing a game, but that game's over, you're not relevant. They particularly have never loved affiliates, nor does Facebook. You want them to love you? Stop bugging them. And start realizing that what you're in is a world that they do control and the bigger budgets control, so we need to adapt our behavior not to pull it back, but it's not the Wild West anymore, guys. And the money, if the advertiser finds that you've been playing tricks, that hurts their brand. When my agency put American Express online back in 2000, 2001, 4 people put the whole thing online, if we had one complaint about a spam email in the New York Times, that would be worth more against their brand than the entire affiliate channel was generating, and we were generating bucks, relatively speaking, but in a multi-billion-dollar world, we're a little piece of the puzzle. So you got to think about the brands coming out and say, wait a minute, if I play a game, if I confuse, trick customers, do this stuff, is it going to come back to bite me? I would suggest if you look around these rooms in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of biting going on. A lot of people push the envelope. We need to push it, but you need to realize that now we're in a level, Facebook's not going after your guys' advertisers, direct response, they're going after brand guys. That's why they don't want you to mess up their world. And the cool thing is, if you think about it, you can do this, just reel back some of the ask permission later BS. Remember what we all said? Let's just do it and we ask permission. That was all cool, wasn't it? And then the guy loses every one of his sites on search. That's the reality now. So what happened to me, I've been here since 95. This is now 18 years later. We're like teenagers. We're now growing up to adults, and the old rules don't apply. So let me bring it down to reality. Let's talk about sense. You know how to make money by where the advertiser's money's going. So this is the same chart. Search is doubling, yay, but that's all mobile. And those mobile ads now, if you're doing insurance lead generation, mortgage, whatever, they're going to show local ads. So you got to be careful with that. Display is going up, but what display is going up is not banner ads, but video, rich media, and sponsorships. Because video is something that they can look at. This is where the advertiser's money is not only going, it makes so much sense. And if you look at it, it's common sense because what happened was we used to have about 60% of traffic Google, roughly 30%ish, I'm doing this from memory, but about 30% was display ads. And a lot of us arbitrage and continue to arbitrage display ads. Real-time bidding, all this stuff is great. But what happened was Facebook took 14% of the display ad space in the last 3 years. Whew. And it's not getting smaller. Their stock's up to 31 people. We all don't complain about that because we only like to tell them they suck, but they're up to 31. They launched at 38. Wow. Why mobile? Why outside the US? Why is non-US traffic crap? Because you decided it. Think about it. This is huge. So look at the ad spend. You gotta follow the money. So if you guys are sitting there looking at this, if you're buying ads, you're gonna have to start learning video, rich media buying. Sponsorships are a little smaller. But these are the kind of opportunities that are coming up outside of display. This is the major effect. This is why I call it branding that creates revenue. Because if you say Brevenue, you realize that I have to, just like I had to do with American Express, if I angered them, what that would cost the brand is more than I would make in money. Even if you made a few million, that's nothing to a big company. I'm not saying it's nothing to you, but you got to respect that there's a lot more value they're going to lose, and there's a lot more choices. And there's a lot more people who coddle them. But what the cool part is, with your ingenuity, your ability to move, what I'm saying is stop being Vikings who rape, pillage, plunder, leave the thing like MySpace, a toasted mess. Because Facebook didn't let you do what MySpace let you do. And you guys, I know you may not personally do it, but I know a lot of affiliates who did it. Why? They look at me and go, we like to do that. Those are the guys whose stuff is starting to go away. Because we're growing up, guys, and everything's known. Google knows it, Facebook knows it. They track, one author went on Facebook, and he's a journalist, so he's online quite a bit. He went from Facebook to an article on Business Insider. 266 data triggers were launched. You're in a world of data that's going to blow away. This click impression world is a flat world of affiliates. We live in it, but we need to drive traffic outside of just that. So let me show you a social case study from social media and give you a little bit of idea. When you're looking at this, let's look at some numbers. I want to show you a little bit of an example, but more importantly, I want you to get an idea of how you identify successful metrics, in my opinion. By the way, questions, please, are welcome as we go through this. Joy of Mom is a site started by one woman. When I met her, she had 14,000 fans. And what I saw, when you see her little comments, 240 comments, 1,926 shares, okay? To heck with impressions in social media are like toilet paper. There's lots of it, okay? But good impressions where people are paying attention is rare. All these shares, and let me give you an example. These are not hot air. I sell to moms, why do you think I'm all over Facebook? Mom's buying power is 2.4 trillion. 66.2% of US moms are on Facebook. I swear that's a giant moms network. And we sell to them, so obviously we have careful, because you got to be very careful with Facebook. My God, this woman loves her audience. They actually stop her from posting. None of this is automated. She posts 8 times a day. They turn her off. She has no pitch, nothing. Make yourself aware. Facebook doesn't want you to pound them. They want quality, and they're going to limit you. This is from somebody who's just doing this, but she reaches so many moms. Check this out. When we took her to 20,000 fans in a month, because you get a dynamic in social media. I do a lot of viral marketing, and I've done this to market to women to get 1 million women to register for coupons and things like that. Women like to refer it. I grew up with 6 older sisters, so I like to say I was indoctrinated in this. When a woman shares with a friend, I'm not trying to gentrify all women, but it means something, guys. Most guys share 2 things, jokes and porn, okay? Show me something different. It's not in our DNA. I look for a multiple of 5 to 10 referral for a successful social campaign. That's when I know I've struck value, and that sharing gives me free traffic. That's how I measure social. How much are they getting it out, and how much that increases my traffic load. And they hear about me from someone else, which makes it a lot more likely for me to convert, because they didn't hear it from me, they heard it from a friend who said, you know what, go check this out. So let me show you her numbers and some key conversion numbers, because we all know visitor to buyer, referral percentage, visitor to opt-in, but there's 3 that I look at, 3 metrics in the attention level of social. Visitor to download. It sounds really weird, but I learned this in 2009. I had a list of over 10,000 dentists, and I was emailing them, and not one person was clicking to my website. You know why? They were all on BlackBerries with no web browsers. Now, I could have complained like most affiliates and said, oh, this sucks, it didn't test, but I forgot to look, and I looked, and I found out for a fact that they were all on mobile. So what I did was, instead of sending them to a web page, which I still put the link out there, in my email, which, by the way, 10 to 15% of what they do on a mobile phone is text and email. Email is dead? I think not. Just the old way of doing email is. But they download, so I put the word download this interview. We got 150,000 downloads of a dentist interview, all right? Because when they can download on their mobile phone, I can then connect that to a PC, and now I'm reaching their PC. And I still have a link to the store, but I said, click here to go to the site, or download. And I used the word download. My click-throughs just went through the roof, because they were all on mobile. They didn't have a web browser. And to this day, they still would rather get content directly in it. Social sharing, virality, how they share. And I use a 5 to 10 metric. One woman, I want her to share it with 5 to 10 friends. If it's 10, it's wildly successful. When I got my 1 million registered users, it was a 10 to 20x referral. Earlier time, probably won't get that higher referral rate, but 5 to 10 is a great one. If I get 1 to 2, I know I haven't done it. So I work on getting the women to share. My job is not to sell them, but to get them to share. Because the more they share, the more I build my Facebook list, the more I build it, the more I can drive traffic back to my site as well. Because what's funny is we find in our Facebook pages that they're going to the site more than the links we put in the posts. So they'll visit our site constantly, they keep clicking the link, but they won't click the individual links. That's just our test. And also visitor to deep engagement, activities such as reviewing, generating content. So I want to show you what this really means. With 20,000 fans, we got 23.6 million impressions. Toilet paper, it's garbage. Yeah, whatever, it's a big number. But come on, it's a Facebook stream, you know? 5 minutes later, they forget it. But do you see on the far right-hand side, 121.6 stories, engagement. That means somebody actually did something. And by the way, that means that in Facebook's EdgeRank, their friends are more likely to see it because they just said not only likes are sort of garbage. I mean, they're good, but they're not a really deep engagement. Things like sharing, commenting. The more they get out, the more that goes out to their friends. It becomes effect. This woman's site now is closing in on 100,000 fans, okay? Simply by posting 2 or 3, 4 times a day. And posting the content, and by the way, branding, she loves her audience. Little trick is, put a little love in social media. Because if you don't love your audience, somebody else will. That's what you're facing. And they'll work with other programs to drive them to sale, by the way. So remember, first step of marketing is a no sale first contact, driving them to the offer. Do you know in Facebook ads, 70% of Facebook ads drive traffic to Facebook? Guys, it's like AOL was in the 90s. People thought it was the internet. These people think Facebook's the internet and half their time's on it. So when we take an ad, we're actually driving it into Facebook because it's incestuous, but they like it. And then we can drive them to our page. Sometimes when we drive them to an opposite page, they're in a whole different environment, and then, they close down because the trust is gone. Don't ask me why. I find it the weirdest thing, but for my test, it's true. So let me talk to you about what I'm saying here. Here they are paying attention. They're on like ADD on steroids. They are running back. They're getting stuff, posting this, family, that. You've got to get them to focus and qualify them. So what do? Viral kind of contests, rewards, surveys, news, sharing. Have you guys ever heard of gaming mechanics? You should, because they're reward-based systems that most of the top companies are doing, because what people do is they like to earn, they like to feel that they're doing something and they're engaging in something beyond just listening. But here's the cool part about your contest. This is where I want to identify their intention. I don't just want to put up some contest so I get a lot of people to look. We're in an old mentality where more is more. I'm not saying less is more, but I want quality. So how do I use these contest reward surveys to really focus on the 1 to 5%, not 1 to 2? And I'm doing a search thing here, but the 1 to 5% will buy. Most of us throw away the other 3%. Let's say it's 2% conversion. We don't care, do we? They don't matter. You show me one CMO, you go, hey, what about these guys? He goes, I don't care. This is what I report. And by the way, no one's saying that's stupid. That's the truth. But here's the deal. There's probably about 10 to 15% of those people who are really interested. Let's just use the 80-20 rule. 20% of them actually care. The rest don't. Or as John Reese used to say, the rest of them don't even exist. They're fake Facebook pages. The interested people, what I'm saying is there's opportunity in conversion that we as direct response marketers generally ignore. There's way more than 1 to 2% interested, but all we want to do is get that sale. And you know what that sale is tomorrow? History. Revenue is a historical term. It's not a growth term. So how do we do this? We actually use these contests to say, hey, for example, financial services. We send them a survey or a contest on debt consolidation. Are you interested? Do you have high credit? Those who do, we drive to this page to solve the problem. Those who don't, we have them share the solution. There's 2 paths to everything from social. They either have an intention or they don't. And I work these middle ones to set up the intention because they don't have it. They're hanging out. They're going to party. It's a party. But how many people at a party, all of a sudden, you let them know they have the problem, they're into the solution. And what I argue with some of the companies I've worked with is, let's turn your 1 to 2% conversion into 4. The only way to do it is to start leveraging social traffic. Because guys, it's not going to get smaller. And I'm putting mobile in there well, because what they do on mobile is social and gaming. Okay? So you need to know this. 50% are watching, and then there's the social sharing people. There's about 15%, and these, again, are just my numbers, but they're pretty good general numbers. There's about 15% of the people who are the influencers. These are the people whose word to your customers would mean gold, who should be possible affiliates by if you just don't come at them like a hardcore affiliate, but talk to them about that relationship and leverage it. Okay? But if you go pitch them, oh, they'll hate you. A lot of them don't have any money at all and way too much time, okay? That's another element of it. So why are we bugging those people? And then complaining that our sales go down because this isn't Google with the search word. Social sharing's built in. So remember, what I'm talking about is not just the conversion, but how do we leverage social sharing and the 20% or so who are interested, who we're only converting 10% of. How's that number? You're only converting 10% of a prospective audience? Nobody would be happy with that, would they? Then why are we all happy with 1% to 2% conversion? Because that's all we know. Hey guys, I've been in this business since 1990. It's called a pivot. It's coming. You remember in 2001, there's a little Google search engine that came out. Everybody said search was done by a company named Alta Vista. Any of you know Alta Vista? Right? Doing real well, aren't they? Let me tell you, I worked with their executive staff once, and the first thing we did during the day of consulting was we spent half a day teaching them how to get on top of their own search engine. I'm not joking. It was the most boring meeting I've ever seen. You don't even know how to get on top of your own search engine? Same sort of pivot's happening now. You don't know how to leverage social and mobile? You'll be a dinosaur. It's not lessening. And the cool part is we've never dealt with people being happy in front of a computer ever. We've dealt with people really dissatisfied, alone, and they're not touching the screen. We have a whole new sense. Marketers, hello? What are the things that make people bark and respond? Is the senses. See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Smell hasn't quite worked well. Taste, I don't even want to go there, but we do have touch. And that's going to be a whole different experience. It's not a computer. So what I'm saying is, think about your audience not just as 1% or 2%, but how can you leverage that and get an extra point in sales? So the new conversion rules, if 1% to 2% convert, what do you do with the other 98%? Make each page look the same on PC, mobile, smartphone, or tablet, or what the really smart people are doing is realizing that they're touch points. When someone's on a smartphone, it's a whole different experience than a tablet. Let me remind you of the moms. They're on the smartphone 7 to 9. Kids are running out the door. All we send them is inspirational things. They do not want to deal with us. Midday, 12 to 2, I get this by watching and studying and leveraging my patterns of traffic. 12 to 2, they're open to buying. That's when we actually pitch them. That's just my audience. About 6 o'clock later, they're in front of their tablets. They're just watching, almost like TV, or the kids are around. They're not engaging. So we do most of our selling in our test in the middle of the day, and less there because smartphone, PC. Because here's the deal. One Henry Blodgett actually said in 2015, only PCs will be in businesses. And most of us know that most business sales made during the day are business PCs. The PC is moving out of the home, guys, and that's going to change a lot of the way that we market. So you want to know not only what sort of content you put out there, but it's different. And the cool part is, here's the great part about mobile. Little photo, little text. You just learned the secret of mobile. My God, it's like web design 1995, guys. Keep it lean. Look at Facebook Stream. They took everything out and just put ads in the stream. That's what it is, ads in the stream. Content to ads, okay? So here's a study by GSI Commerce and Forrester, and this is what I want to talk. This is like one of the most important studies, I feel, for me, because it really showed me something I see very few marketers talking about. On the right-hand side, 67% of new customers. This is where affiliate marketing generally makes its living, new customers, okay? Direct visits, 20%. That's what I mean by branding. When I have my Facebook page go crazy, they create direct visits, not links to my specific page. Direct visits are branding visits. That means somebody remembers me. Anybody who owns domains knows this. A type in domain is worth gold if it's good, because they remember you. Build, if I'm a marketing officer, I want to constantly look at my direct visit numbers. I want them to increase that, because that's only going to increase conversion. That means they're thinking about it, not me having to place an ad in front of them. Second is organic search, 16%, 11% paid, others, which is like comparison shopping engines, 11, email, affiliates, and social. Now on the left-hand side, this is 33%, this is just starting. Go through 2 touch points, and what's funny, direct visits is number 1, organic search, paid search, email goes up, display ads, affiliates, 2 points, but you see it's much less. there's like a third of the traffic is going through more than one touch point. And we all live in the world, a flat world, I say, of the affiliates, which says, no, they just visit, they search, or I send them an email. There's nothing else. Yeah, flat world. You remember we used to think the earth was the center of the universe? Affiliates are not the center of the universe. And the world doesn't revolve around you, it revolves around the customer. And what's really funny is look at these touch points and direct visits. That's for new customers, okay? Just new. Let's look at repeat customers. All of a sudden, email is dead, right? Everybody knows, email sucks. We can't spam people anymore. We can't send 10 million people emails that we don't know and send them through our servers in Serbia. Nothing against Serbia, by the way. We can't send them through there. We actually have to email. And email is turning into CRM. Email, when I send my dentist an email on their mobile phone, they told me they did not think that was an email. It was not in their understanding, even though it was an email. They saw it as social. They saw it as mobile. So we make our emails look prettier, simple, and also in mobile, you'll notice you need a little white space because you ever clicked and clicked multiple links? There's a lot of bad clicks. There's a lot of bad click to calls on mobile right now because if you put a web design, everything's close, right? You got to open it up. But let's look at the one touch point here because this is interesting. It's about 50-50, 1 to 2 touch points. Repeat customers, direct visits. You see what I'm talking about? Branding that creates revenue? How many chief marketing officers are screaming at their guys to get more direct visits? Not many. And it's right there. Number one for new, number 1 for repeat. Number 2, email, organic search. Look on the left-hand side. Email and others. 2 touch points. Email and others. And what's ironic, look at the second one, display ads and others. You guys do an arbitrage, display ads and others. Not display ads, impression, click, conversion. You get what I'm saying? They're showing it to you. Direct visits plus others are 10%, and it goes through the list there. But what you're seeing is half the repeat customers, almost half, come through more than one touch point. And you guys who were here for the attribution session that was here before me, it's some rocket science they're doing, but it's about connecting the breadcrumbs in the forest of the customer and not saying, oh, they're either search, email, or they visit my website. That's a very narrow point of view that's killing a lot of businesses now. And I'm not saying throw that away, keep the discipline, but take 10 to 20% of your traffic and start testing it and adapting. Because if you're not now, and watch your mobile numbers, because if it's bigger, you better move quicker. Because somebody on an iPad is way different than somebody on a PC is way different than someone on a smartphone. And the touch points, this isn't woo-woo, this is fact. We're living in woo-woo thinking one touch point creates a sale and then firing people because that one touch point didn't work because we're all hammering them. And it's weird, man. I mean, we all know I've done it. We're all doing it. I got it. Many phones, many characters. Now, here's the thing I want to tell you. And I really mean this. I love the US, but I got to tell you straight, guys. We are developing mobile like we develop PCs in terms of how we market to them. I'm not trying to just say the Chinese, but Europeans, Australians. The whole rest of the world is so different to us. When you go to China, here's how they monetize. And where I'm going to say this is wait till I show you how much better they monetize than the US to Asian traffic. Little hint, Asian traffic freaking rocks. And if you don't get on the bandwagon, you want opportunity, they have twice as many people as we'll ever have will be online, guaranteed. And you don't have to live in China to monetize to them. It'd be better, but you don't have to. Okay? Facebook stock has been bumping up because of an increase in Chinese customers. Not that that's it, but it's an interesting thing. Because of all the different ways that the US does it, we're messed up in this. We charge people, all we got are people paying $70 a month. Do you think that really gives us a broad market? And the price points on mobile are 0 to 20, not 40 to 80. This is not direct response infomercials. It's subscription status. And by the way, I want that little sale so I can create the second purchase on the PC. That'll be a lot larger. Let me show you. This is average revenue per user between Pandora, Zynga. Zynga's the guys who do Farmville. Have you guys played Farmville? Okay, what do you guys think is the average Farmville user? At least this was a couple years ago. They've changed. 48-year-old white US male. It's a game without end. And if you want to do marketing, that's what you should do, games without end. It's not, true gamers know games end. My generation didn't play games, so games without end make sense because one, they don't play games, and two, if the game ends, they stop coming. And I ask one of the first things I ask most of my clients I'm working with is, what's your Farmville water? People come back once a day to make sure their farm has water, their virtual farm. They won't go out in their own yard and grow a veggie, but they'll go online to check it. I met some guys at Zynga, they're like, dude, it's crazy. 50 million people a day check their water on Farmville. It blows our mind, okay? But you know what? It's relevant to them because it's status. Remember what I told you? Status subscriptions? It's status. 10% of Zynga's customers make their revenue, 1% make the lion's share. That's one of the multiples we're seeing. But look at Pandora. That little red line on the bottom is mobile. The green line is the PC revenue. And as you see in the US, that's what I'm saying. Pandora, $387, $662 on PC. Zynga, $5, $25 on PC. Tencent, which is a social network in China, $17.62 mobile, $58.95 PC. Why? Because they connect the touch points. If you look at that, their mobile revenue is almost as much as Zynga's entire revenue. Wow. But let's just keep looking at the old world and pretend that we're the ones who invented the internet and become weird Al Gores heading into the 21st century. We do. I'm just saying this as American, man. We are creative, but you know what? We think we're so cool. What would you as a marketer say to this? Who's kicking butt of these three? How many of you have even heard of Tencent? Asian traffic doesn't monetize. Is that true, or is that something you just decide to say because you only know how to sell to Americans? Nothing wrong with that, but you want to talk about growth? Holy God. There's the rest of the world. We got to stop thinking of anybody non-US as crap traffic. We just have to. Or be forced to continually compete and send more ads to the same people, which will cause a decrease in response. So mobile measures. Click to mobile web, click to call, click to video, click to SMS, click to locate, click to buy, click to storyboard. All these, there's different measures. These are measures that actually lets me know if they went to the mobile web, I know how many visitors. And is my mobile website, is it ready for mobile? Click to call is great, but you got to watch it. You get a lot of bad click to calls because you click any number on most smartphones and it'll call them. And that causes a lot of accidents. Click to call is awesome. You just have to be aware that there tends to be a high volume. That's why like Ring Revenue and those guys will do a 60-second call with you because there's a lot of errors, and there's a lot of errors in clicks. So watch your numbers on mobile because just look at your tablets and stuff and click on an old website. You'll be clicking multiple links by accident. Give them a little white space. That's all we're saying. Space it out a little bit. You can't crunch. It's not a PC world. So look at these metrics. And then remember, US local search, mobile versus desktop. This is just 2 or 3 years. Guys, it's going to equal, mobile and desktop searches are going to equal each other in just 2 years. So if you're driving traffic from search and you're just sitting in a PC world, you're going to get quickly left behind. You have to be careful of this. Look at these numbers. And Google's rocking on mobile, okay? Which bodes well for us, but it also brings a challenge. If Google's rocking on mobile, how can we take our drive that traffic to mobile? And ultimately, if we're in believing the numbers of the US here, which is that the PC monetizes 2 to 3 times, and let's assume that's a reality. It's really about driving traffic to the PC, isn't it? That's where I think there's going to be a whole performance level of actually doing this, because this is a skill. This is not directly to conversion. We need to drive traffic. So remember that's coming up. And remember, the keywords stay the same. But look at insurance, loans, and mortgage. You search on a mobile phone, you're going to get local results. Whoops. Ain't that going to be really hard for the whole online lead generation world based on virtual stuff? It's going to affect it. You really just want to take their attention, and if you can, start thinking about smartphone, PC browser, tablet, and social. You got to adapt the experience. When you're in social, you have to be social with the purpose, by the way, driving significant traffic. I actually work with people in their social pivots to really optimize 1 or 2 channels. I call YouTube a channel. Twitter's a channel. Facebook's a channel. Like with moms, we're all over Facebook. With news stuff that I do, we market to like basically 60-year-old guys in one list, so we sell financial subscriptions. It's Twitter and YouTube driving mad traffic. So you want to optimize and know not all the channels, but which ones can you actually do and focus that energy, because the more you focus, the higher your level of success will be by far. It's very, very, very important to do this, because consumers, here's the other great thing about mobile. Let me make it real easy for you. Work on your email. It drives repeat customers. We all hate it, but customers would rather, on smartphones, would rather have email than text messages. Okay? They're looking at email and their text messaging 15% of the time they're on the smartphone. Wow. That's a huge opportunity. And let me show you an example. Does this look like an email? It's one of these Groupon things. It looks like a website, doesn't it? Nope. Big picture, short text, orange button, very familiar to any direct marketer. Okay? But look at the space. Look at the room. Looks sort of social, doesn't it? There they are. Now, I'm not just pitching Groupon. They're smart direct marketers, but look at what's happening. What did Groupon build its business on? Buying ads, a little bit, mostly email. Email. Why did they get Facebook? Why? To get their emails. Which leads us to the final point, data. John Battelle years ago said Web 2.0 is about one thing, data. And we are now moving to a level of data that has to go beyond this impression, click, conversion world that's there, but it's like sometimes step two. To people who don't know us, it's step two. But it's all about knowing the data that you have. You all see the social logins. You've gone to a site that says click Facebook, do this. Not only do that to make it easier, but I can get the email, I can get the college, I can get the interests, and obviously this will change because Facebook is changing all the time, but I can pull certain data out. What if I knew their interests? What if I knew what level of college? How many of you sell to people and having to know if they have an undergrad degree or a graduate degree? You think that makes a difference? In the US, it makes a huge difference. How many people are doing social logins or just being lazy and just taking email? Because a social login with an API done well, I even went to the domain conference I was just invited to keynote at a few months ago. I was like, guys, these guys are lazier than anybody I've ever met. I said, just get the thing. So if you sell the company, you sell the data. You got big data. You may not do anything with it, but you got it. And the bigger guys can do something with it. And what I'm suggesting as an industry is maybe we can too. Because if we're not, we're going to get left behind, because data is now way more sophisticated, and we need to train our people. And we need to make this as accountable. But we need to look at, because people will log in with Google. I love Google. They log in with Google, man, I get mad data. They log in with Facebook, they log in with Yahoo, and then there's some others. LinkedIn is a little bit smaller and Twitter's smaller. It's primarily Google and Facebook. Can we get more data beyond the email? There's services, by the way, that I use, and I'm happy to talk with people or email if you got a question that can actually help you do this, because it is a little bit tricky now, but I'm telling you, you want a lot more than just their email. You really do. Email doesn't tell me much, and usually it's a Hotmail address. Give you two examples. Because the business, your asset is data. More than your sales. Sales are yesterday's news. Don't get me wrong, but any marketer knows sales are yesterday's news. That doesn't mean I'll sell today. What's my data? What's my list to be able to get in touch with these people? Here's a company called Library Thing. By the way, these two guys were affiliates. They said Shelfari are basically social networking rapists. Ooh, I do not know how one rapes Facebook, but I guess these guys did. Here's the rapist, Shelfari. What they did was create a site, a funnel, so that people who are interested in books came, social login, get to register, they get the data, and then they talk about books and they consume it. I call them consumptive communities where people buy wine. They talk about wine, they buy wine. They talk about books, they buy books. Amazon bought both of these guys for the data, not for traffic, for the data. Traffic's nice, but traffic ebbs and flows. For the data is huge, and these are all small affiliate-based sites, okay? So the final thing I'm going to talk about is show you one last thing, how it shapes the deal. And I brought you a lot of challenges here, and I might have been a little bit blunt, but I sort of, it's early afternoon, your probably blood sugar's low, so maybe I'm polarizing you, maybe I'm just being a jerk, or maybe I really care and say, guys, we can't just do it the old way. And there's a really bountiful, huge increase in revenue if we wake our butts up. Create the right deal. This is one of my clients, one of the biggest silver and gold dealers in Canada. We're strictly a telephone lead generation follow-up with salespeople. Those are our affiliates, not literal online affiliates, almost all driven by telephone sales. So everything I do in social and mobile is to get a chat and get them to call me. And I have people watching my social thing. They're getting pinged in Hootsuite, man. They're not living in Facebook. My guys don't go to Facebook. They've got it all in Hootsuite, and here's somebody who raises their hand, and I want them on it and say, call us, because when we call us, anybody knows the sale's going to add a zero. It's just a fact. And people like being called on the phone if you've actually arranged it for them. We can't cold call them. But that's nice, but I look at these guys because they're retailers, and there's not a high retail margin in this business. It's like a retailer, 1 to 10%, okay? So what do? AppMex, one of our competitors, came out with a flat customer acquisition cost, $25 per order. Just to let you know, most of mine might get, $10, $15 per order. Flat fee of $25 per order. They went out to affiliates and they bought all the customers for a year. And my guess would be on the assumption that 10 to 20% of them turned into repeat customers. That's how the math works. That's how I back it out. These guys did really well. They had to shut the program down after a year because as a retailer, they pretty much bought all the customers there were. That's not necessarily true, but they did. But let me show you somebody who did a different twist, who didn't say, because as most of us in affiliate marketing, this is pretty much it, right? You either pay them what you can, or you pay them a lot and hopefully have big pockets like AppMex that you can afford to wait a year as your monetization comes through. Well, and this is a true affiliate program, just a friend of mine, Silver Saver. What he did, I loved it, because he says instead of people spending $1,000 to $5,000, they put $100 to $500 away a month. He can then increase his margin because he's selling less and he's managing it, and he can pay his affiliates more. I had an affiliate with Sprott making $10 a month. I had an affiliate with Silver Saver now. He's making every month $4,000 to $5,000 because every month that stays, he gets paid a bounce on the premium. And this guy is minting money, by the way, and is very good to his affiliates. So he created a subscription. So key initial findings. Build your social list, your email list, and your mobile list. Measure referrals and how your conversions are in those referrals. It's a game of referral. Identify and monetize intent. Otherwise, it's a hobby. And I really want to thank you for spending the time with me. And I hope some of this, even if one of these things through, just think about it. Because what's happening in this world as we meet, there's going to be a great shift in the affiliate world. Not that what we've done is garbage by any means, but I think it's just the first step. And if you can start looking beyond it, that's where growth is happening. And looking beyond, for some of you, beyond US traffic. Nothing against US traffic, but if you got a lot of foreign traffic, monetize or don't, a lot of us know it's bad. But take a look. These are my sites. Feel free to give me a holler, a call, anything I can do to help. My name's Declan, and I'm done. Thank you, guys.